Mother Teresa said that souls of great prayer are souls of great silence. If this interests you, then listen to podcast episode number 39.
Welcome to the show.
Well, welcome. My name is Will Sinclair, and you're listening to The Real Truth About You. And this is a show where we help you to become the best you that you can be by discovering the real depth of who you are and the real true and beautiful you. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about silence. Well, it's true. My wife and I run a retreat house at a children's camp. It's not just for children. This retreat house is for adults, and it's quite a popular place. But it's called the Mother Teresa Center. And anyway, there's a big sign in there, a big poster, huge poster. And it's a picture of Mother Teresa and her famous saying that souls of great prayer are souls of great silence. And it's something I've come to really appreciate in my life, and I'm going to share that with you right away. So I've been thinking, I've been on this path, on this journey now for quite a number of years. And it's only in the past, to discover who God is, who my divine is. It really is. Not just the divine of the Bible or the divine of the Quran or whatever, but to see who my God is, who God is. And in the last 3 years, I've been on this inner journey. And this is 2016. So 2013, 2012, 2013, this journey started. And I went to a meditation group. I have to be honest, I come from a Catholic Christian background, and I went to a meditation group. And I really thought this was going to be a weird thing to go to. But on this journey, I've discovered, through this group, I've discovered God in a way that I've never discovered God before. And this hasn't always been a show about God, but God is true in my life. Eckhart Tolle says he doesn't like using the term God, because the term God seems to come with so many predefined labels and images, and really, how can language describe something that's undescribable, that's too beyond words? Yeah, so anyway, I'm really, I'm just digging into the depths of my being here. And I just want to share with you one of the things I've really discovered on this journey to the inner self, to discover who God is in your life, is silence. And there's something about it. It's something that's really difficult to do, especially at the start. I know people I talk to who try to do it find it very, very, very difficult to do. Like in our busy world, it's hard to stop sometimes, and it's hard to take time aside and be quiet and be silent. But one of the things I've really learned is that becoming silent isn't just about being quiet. It's not about just being quiet, read a magazine. I mean, that's got something to do with it. But it's got to do with a lot more than that. And I've discovered that what goes along with it is the quiet is quieting the mind. If you were to sit, and Eckhart Tolle talks about this a lot. Eckhart Tolle, I've been going through his audio book. You can get it as a book, I guess, too, but I'm into audios. It's called The Power of Now. And I would highly recommend that you get it, Eckhart Tolle, Tolle. And you can find that anywhere you can get downloadable books, or where you can buy books, or you can buy audios, or online, or whatever. But I would highly recommend it as one of your reading materials. And anyway, he talks about being a silent observer, and this might be something that's quite foreign to you, but being a silent observer of your mind. And we're not talking about emptying your mind. And some people think emptying your mind means leaves you open to possession of things. There's other spirits out there, and isn't that what it means? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about quieting your mind. Because the journey to inner peace, if you want inner peace, if you want an inner joy, and I'm not talking about like joy as in happiness. I feel good today. I feel great. Oh, I feel like laughing today. I feel, wow, I've got the world by the tail. I feel so good today. My feelings are running high. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about inner deep joy. That thing that just keeps you going. It just keeps you on a state of not emotion, but you just feel a peace, a calmness, a joyfulness about you that comes out in everything. And it's not just happiness, it's external. That's external. The same with inner peace. It's not like, oh, today's a good day today. Oh, finally, today's a good day. No, that's external. That's external peace. That's your emotions. When you're up and down in your emotions, and if your day's going great and you feel great, that's your emotions. If your day sucks and you're feeling just down, that's your emotions. That's you living on the surface of your life. I'm talking about inner peace. Inner peace that it's like an inner strength. That no matter where your life goes, the ups and the downs, you have a consistency of strength, a consistency of knowing that you know, and a peace about you that's beyond your understanding. I'm not saying you don't have sadness. I'm not saying you don't experience fears once in a while. And I'm not saying you don't experience emotion. What I'm saying is the inner strength, the inner peace that keeps you going and that cannot be taken away from you. Attaining that, the key to attaining that is coming into silence, coming into the quiet. And it's really difficult, I know, because when you have a super busy life, you've got groceries, you've got this, that, you've got work, you've got, if you're a student, you've got homework. If you're at work, you've got homework, or whatever you have, you've got problems you bring home from work. And you got to get up in the morning, and you got kids things on at night, and you got things that, your only time to relax is, 11 o'clock at night, you watch your favorite TV show or a rerun or whatever. Then by the time you get to bed, you're like, oh, what am I doing going to bed so late? I got to get up for work. And then you get up in the morning, you're twice as tired. It seems like that life that keeps repeating and repeating and repeating repeats like that because you don't strive for that inner peace. You don't strive for that quiet. Mother Teresa always said, for those of you who are into prayer and things like that, she always talks. And Mother Teresa, I'm sure you're familiar with her. She was the one that went onto the streets of Calcutta in India, and she would just find somebody who was dying. People would die all over the streets, and there'd be bodies everywhere, and it's just people die without dignity. And she would go and she would just spend time with them until they died. She would cradle them in her arms. She says, I saw Jesus in their eyes. And she always said, and she started out as one person. And pretty soon, somebody else wanted to come and do it with her. And then another person, then another person. And pretty soon she started an order called the Sisters of Charity. And, they gave up they just gave up on a life of luxury, and they would throw out TVs, and they would be as the people they served. They would become as impoverished as the people they served. And they would spend time with these people that nobody else wanted to spend time with. They smelled these people. And they were just dirty, and nobody wanted to spend time with them. And they spent time with them because they spent time in quiet. They found something deeper than the surface of their life. And Mother Teresa always said, when you talk about prayer, she said that if you are busy, if you should take an hour a day to pray. And however you pray is up to you. I pray quiet in silence. That's one of my things. She says, if you pray for an hour a day to connect to your God, but if you're super busy, like if you have a busy day, then pray for 2 hours. How do you do that? I can hear some of you already saying that. How the heck do you get up and you take time? You're saying 1 hour? I can't even get 10 minutes in. Well, I remember being, when I was writing a novel, and we lived in a small 900 square foot home, one level, and my office used to be like a closet. That's where my computer, for the longest time of our kids growing up, we had 4 kids. And so it was 6 of us in this small 900 square foot home, and blessed to have it, right? And the kids have so many good memories in there. But the thing is I had nowhere to write. It was always noisy, and there was always something. I never had time to write. Kids are busy, right? Anybody that's got kids, you're busy. One kid takes 4 handfuls to look after, And if you're a single parent, God bless you. That's hard. Where do you get the time? I remember telling somebody, get that. They said the same thing. I got 2 little kids, and, I just don't got time. I just don't have that time to spend alone. And in my 21-year-old wisdom, I said to her, I said, you know what? When you get time in the bathroom, when you just close that door and take 5 minutes. And then I had kids, and I'll tell you, you don't close that bathroom door because you're scared they're into something. And if they're quiet, something's wrong. So you leave that bathroom door open, and you're sitting there, and one's climbing on top of the toilet behind you, and the other one's like sitting in between your legs. You've got no time. I'm telling you, no time. And so anyway, what I did was this, right? I was fortunate my wife was there, right, in the house, so I didn't have to leave them alone. But we had a detached garage. It was an old house built in 1910 with an old detached garage at the back of the yard. I mean, it'd been great if it was right beside the house, but it wasn't. And so anyway, to write this novel, right, I would have to get up at like 4:30 in the morning before I went to work. And I still had to take all my time with my kids. It still had to be, and I would go and I would start writing at 4:30 till like 6:30. Sometimes it's 5:30 to 6:30, but usually 6:30 was the cutoff because the kids started getting up then. And they had to get ready for school, and they had to get ready for work. But you have to do what you have to do. It's all down to priorities. How do you want to prioritize your life? How do you want to prioritize your life? However you say that word. So it's down to you. What do you want to do? Because if you really want to, you'll find the time. And when I look back in my life, the most significant changes in my life have come when I've spent time in silence. Now, I have to say that I'm in a very fortunate age right now where my wife and I were empty nesters. So as I go through this part of my journey, which means if you're an empty nester, you have no excuse, right? I'm at this part of my journey where I can take this time. I have a job that's super busy in the summer. We run camps. And so in the off season, it's a little bit more like a semi-retired life. And I'm really grateful for that life. But it means I get to spend that time in silence and quiet. And so I encourage you to try and find that time. And because not only does it take effort to find the time, to discover what time you can take time aside. Now, maybe you're a night person. Maybe you've got time in the afternoon before the kids come home. Maybe you've got time in the morning, right? I'm assuming if you've got kids. If you don't have kids, then you can almost pick and choose what you want. But kids tend to rule your life. I know that. We had 4. And so anyway, what I'm saying is you try to find that time. If you want to discover that inner peace, the inner joy, the inner strength, the inner beauty that will transform your world. It will transform you. And in the process, transform the world around you. Because you can't help. Light always turns other things to light. Transmutes everything to light. You'll notice as you improve, as you become more light-like, as you become more light in you, as you become more peaceful, you'll find that your family becomes more peaceful. Those around you will become more peaceful. You'll become less judgmental. You won't have this, what Father Richard Rohr calls a dualistic type of thinking, where you're like, everything has to be right or wrong, black or white. You know, it's very judgmental. You look at people and you make decisions right away about rights and wrongs and judgments and, oh, they're doing this bad or blah, 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 right? And you don't have that because you do that because you're afraid of yourself. It's a concept you learn along the way. But if you can take that time, then take it. If you can find it, discover it, then grab it. Even if it's only 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So discovering that time is the first challenge. The second challenge is to actually do it. If you're a person who's not used to spending time in the quiet, you will find it very, very difficult at the start. And it's a habit that you have to get into. It's a habit that, like any good habit, it becomes something that's ingrained and built into you. But it begins with effort, with trial. It's a lot easier for people who love silence, who love to be alone. It is. It's a lot easier. But my wife, Adrena, she's a social person. She's a social butterfly. I get my energy. I'm introvert, so I get my energy, which has nothing to do with like being out and about or whether you're in your room reading a book. That's not what introvert means, right? Introvert and extrovert means where do you get your energy from? Where do you regain your energy from? I regain my energy from being alone. I love it. I'll sit and read or I'll sit and listen or I'll just sit. I'm the happiest just being with me. I'm just so happy. I just regain that strength. Whereas my wife needs to be with other people. She needs interaction. Even if it's just with me, she needs interaction to regain that strength. But yet we have both been able to sit for long periods of time in silence because we've found the time and then we've practiced and practiced and practiced. Now, Eckhart Tolle, and I started this a little bit earlier, Eckhart Tolle, what he said was, become the silent observer of your mind. So if you can imagine yourself, right? And it seems like counter thing I'm trying to tell you to quiet your mind. Yeah, I'm telling you to imagine, but just listen. If you imagine, you're thinking things, and all of a sudden you become aware that you're thinking, right? So one of the processes at the start is, if you sit in quiet, and if you're like me, your brain immediately kicks in and starts thinking about I got to do this, I got to do that, I got a shopping list, or I wonder if I left the tap running, or blah, 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 or I got to remember kids' lunch, or whatever it is. Or you're thinking about your future, you're thinking about your past, but your mind is just active, right? As soon as you think things, just say to yourself the word thinking. And all of a sudden you become aware that you're thinking. And in that process, that awareness, you can almost imagine yourself looking at your thought. It's like you're stepping back from what you're thinking about, and you're actually looking at the thought. Is it like a little package or something like that, right? This is where Wayne Dyer talks about you're able to pick and choose your thoughts of the day, right? If you have a thought that makes you angry or makes you judgmental about somebody, it's like, imagine a conveyor belt, and you can and you've taken that thought up, and you can just take that thought out because it's creating negative emotions in you, right? And you've become aware of it. And you can take that thought and you can put it back on the conveyor belt and pick another thought up that serves you better. Whether it's a good time that you had in your life, or thoughts of a nice sunrise, or whatever you like makes you feel better, right? You can choose your thought. So Eckhart Tolle says, take a step back in your mind and look at your thought. You'll be amazed. If you were to sit and look at your mind like you were looking at a movie, you'd be amazed how active your mind is when you try to sit in silence. You'll be amazed at how many thoughts fly through your brain. Everything from your future to education to your toenails need to be cut to when did I shower last? Is this my time to shower? Or whatever the heck it is. You'll have so many thoughts going through your head. But as soon as you're able to take a step back and go, oh wow, I'm thinking that, then you'll be able to begin the process of quieting your mind. And part of the process of quieting your mind is to listen to yourself breathe. And I've talked about breathing before, whether you're just breathing in and you're actually listening to that. And then you breathe out and you listen to that. And you breathe in nice and deep through your nose, and then with your eyes closed, and you breathe out, and you're listening to yourself as you breathe in, you breathe out. You're listening to the air coming through your nostrils. When you're doing that, when you are listening to the air coming through your nostrils and out through your nostrils or out through your mouth, you have no choice but to not think of anything. You can't do both. So that is a really good starting exercise. And I'll tell you, at the beginning, it's very hard. I started doing this, I think it was the tail end of 2012 or maybe 2013, something like that. And this is 2016. And I'm just at the point where I'm very comfortable at sitting in silence. I'm very comfortable at sitting in the quiet, at not allowing things to interrupt that. And I'm finding through that so many transformations in my life. It is unbelievable. When you start this process towards silence, towards quietness, you can have that quietness wherever you go. You can be at the school playground waiting for your child, or wherever you are that's super noisy. You can be at a soccer game or anything, hockey, you name it. And you can still experience that quietness, that stillness. Eckhart Tolle calls it living in the now, in the present moment. When you listen to yourself breathe, it brings you right back to the present moment. That's why a lot of people, when somebody gets hot-headed and really angry, and you see something, you hear somebody say, and it goes, just breathe, breathe. That's what we're talking about. That the being angry, the emotion that just fills you, and you get so caught into it that it actually runs your life. Like, you'll actually be surprised at how much your mind runs your life. Tom Shadyac, who is the filmmaker for people like Jim Carrey, all those big comedians, I can't remember all their names, but very, very famous movies he's made. And he did a documentary film called I Am. And I've completely forgotten what I was going to talk about. Obviously, I wasn't meant to say it. But anyway, the point is to come back into the present moment. Oh, that's what it was. It was he did this documentary called I Am, and it's all about the journey to discover what makes us do what we do, what makes us create wars and all that stuff. There's got to be some internal battle that's going on in the thing. But anyway, in the process, he went down and he researched a heart foundation and a heart research facility, and he found out that we always talk about don't let your heart control you. You know, let your mind control you. Think with your brain. Think with your head. That's what you've got your brain for. But he found out that the brain, actually, the heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the body. The heart sends more signals. You know, it transcribes, whatever, deciphers signals more and sends all those signals to the brain compared to what the brain sends to the body. And so what people who are in the journey towards inner peace find is that the mind is a powerful, powerful tool. As the mind has done great things, but the mind has also done a lot of destructive things. And the people on this journey towards inner peace have discovered that the mind can control the body. And the mind was not designed to control the body. It is a tool to be used. You use it for as long as you need to use it, and then you lay it down. It's just like using a hammer. You use your hammer until you don't need to use the hammer anymore, then you lay it down. And you pick up a different tool or you do something else. But it's actually the heart that leads you towards inner peace. It's when you listen with your heart. That's what leads you towards inner peace, to inner joy, inner strength. And if you're a person like me who is on a journey to discover God in intimate ways that you've never experienced God before, this is the heart is what leads you to God. The heart leads you to discover God in ways you can never, ever imagine. The heart is like the undescribable language of God. The mind tries to fill you with words, and words are very limiting when it comes to describing what's undescribable. So you have to learn the process of quieting your mind and allowing your heart to listen. And it begins with this whole process of silence. So I would encourage you, to really embark upon this journey, to take time to discover where you can take time. to discover how to sit in silence. If you start at 5 minutes at a time, even if you sit and time yourself, and the clock goes off at 5 minutes and you're done, you just sat there. And then do it again another day, the next day. Or 2 minutes if that's all you can do, or 1 minute if that's all you can do. And over time, you'll discover that you get better and better and better at it. Okay? So, thank you so much for listening in today. And I do hope you take that time to be quiet, to be silent, to really live your life from the inside out, rather than live your life totally on the outside. Okay, so you guys are just awesome. And I'm just so happy that you're here. I'm just so happy that you're listening in. And you're not listening in by accident. You're listening on purpose because you were led here. There is no coincidences. And I would encourage you to go to therealtruthaboutyou.com, and you can, it's all like one word, therealtruthaboutyou.com, and you can get more episodes there. You can go to iTunes and all that stuff, Google Play, and you can subscribe if you want, and you can get it on your phone. But our website is where we put all our resources and that kind of stuff. So, and all the latest things that we're doing. And so anyway, I would encourage you to go there. And you know what? And if you would like to share this message with somebody else, just download it and send it off to somebody, or give them the link to therealtruthaboutyou.com. This is episode 39. And it'll probably be called something to do with silence, but whatever it's going to be called. Anyway, yeah. Hell, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm saying thanks for listening in, and this is 32 minutes or so we've been on the air here, and I look forward to seeing you in the 40th episode, the 40th show. Wow, I can't believe 40 episodes. That was like, I started out episode 1 thinking I might not make it to even episode 5, because I'm one of those people who move on all the time, get great ideas and get them initiated, but I'm not the one to, I get the plane off the ground, but don't let me fly it, because I'll be off getting another plane off the ground. So anyway, but episode 40, wow, coming up. And so anyway, you guys absolutely rock. You rock and roll, and I love you lots, and be blessed, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The Real Truth About You. I'm Will Sinclair. Bye for now.